Hi. In this bag is the JoYo BSK-150. It's an entire PA in this bag, and you even get the bag with it. But I want to show you what it does, so let's get it out of the bag and also what it comes with. Now, before we get going, JoYo sent the BSK-150 to me, and all they want in return is a review. They are not paying for this review. They've not told me what to say and thoughts of my own, and I am deliberately spinning this round so you get a sense of what it looks like. I've put it on one of my speaker stands, since that's not included in the price, but what is included is a couple of extra things. Now, I'm going to show a shot of what's on the top of this because it's really complicated to look at. If I actually tilt this over, you can see there's absolutely loads of buttons and dials because this thing is jam-packed with features. So let's start at the beginning. We've got 4 tweeters here, one in each corner. They're 2.75 inch tweeters, and you've actually got some either side. There's one here and there's one here, and then you've got an 8-inch mid-range and woofer right in the middle, projecting the sound out. And what's really clever is the design. So you can see the angle here. We've got feet here as well as on the bottom, so we can kick it backwards, so if you want to elevate it upwards like a wedge. But with the speakers that are on the side as well, it's giving you 270 degrees worth of sound. Before we go over the top, because there's a lot, let's go over the back. And you can also see there's 2 handles right here, and there's a handle on the back, so you just grab it with one hand. It's really, really easy. We have 6 inputs. It's actually 3 channels, but we've got 3 combi jacks, and we've also got 3 line ins, and they marry up between channel 1, channel 2 and channel 3. So for example, you can actually have an XLR, you can have a microphone in there, you could have a guitar, you could have another instrument, or you could have a stereo, so you could have things like a keyboard plugged in left and right. Now technically you could actually use both, but you'd be missing out on 1 or 2 features. But channel 1 is specifically designed for microphones, and I'll explain why in a minute. And then channel 2 and 3 are instrument channels, and you'll see why when we get to the top. Additional to that, you've got a full DI out, and you've got phone, and you've got an independent volume control for that. Now you will see amp in and amp out, and that is not a amp or effect send and return. This is actually plugging in or out to another one of these, so if you want to actually use this in stereo. But then you've also got a main and a secondary for connection, and you can change it whether it's in mono, or if you want this one to be the left or this one to be the right. And we've got the connection point here, nice big power connection here. It is DC in, 28 volts, 5.5 amps, and there's a big old transformer to go with it. But the other part is it's battery operated. So we have a battery built in, and it says 12 times 21,700 lithium batteries. So what I can figure out is 12 batteries at 21,700 lithium and precise battery indicator, which is here. And it says normally once it's fully charged it can be used for about 6 hours. Now the thing on the back here that I missed out is DC out. There's a USB-A DC out, 5 volts 1 amp, so you can actually charge a phone, an iPad, if you've got something with you for lyrics. Really handy. Just be aware, if you do use that, of course, those average of 6 hours is going to go down. The design of the speaker, I actually really like it, although it does remind me of some kind of weird bike helmet. King all the time, fighting crime, secret raiders who will neutralize. You've got this wonderful sort of wedge design, really, really cool. You can get this in a couple of different colours. I really like the red one. I'm glad they sent me the red one. And then before we get on to the top, I'm going to show you what comes in that bag, because it's not just the speaker. So it's easier if I just grab my phone and show you. So this is the bag. It is quite a big bag, as you saw in the intro there, with this telescopic handle. And the great thing is it actually comes with feet, and these feet are these little rollers, and there's one on each side, so you can spin it round really easily. Now saying that, the main compartment is obviously just for the speaker, but there are 2 side compartments, and in here is a couple of gifts. And I actually contacted JoYo to say, look, we've got this, thank you very much for sending it to me, how much is all the extra stuff? And he said, no, it comes with it. So let me show you what it comes with. So let me start with the obvious one, this one. This is a USB-C to USB-C cable, I think it's about 6 meters long. It's really long. And the whole point of that is so you can plug it into the top. And we're going to go through that in a minute so you can live stream. Having said that, they've actually sent this, and this comes with it as well. So this actually is a TRRS jack adapter that you plug in, and then you can wirelessly transmit from here over to one of these two. So you've got USB-C or you've got Lightning. The final thing is this, and this is a little Bluetooth pedal. This is the BSK-150P for pedal, and it's a USB-C DC in charge and wireless. And now have a look what it says on the bottom. We've got looper, drums, pitch correction, and harmony. That's right, those 4 things are in that thing. Okay, so I've just got my phone here and I've just got this pointing down just so you can see this, because it looks really confusing to begin with, but when you break it all down, actually, it's really well thought out. You got to remember what JoYo call this, the multifunctional live streaming amp, and this is the BSK. Think of it like Busk, because you can go out with it because it's got battery. So let's switch it on and you'll instantly see a load of lights come up, and we're going to go through what they do. We're going to start over here. This is the looper. We've got a built-in looper. It's a real simple looper. Record and overdub and play and stop. There is no undo or redo, unfortunately, but we can just start recording straight away. With the built-in looper, the looper actually lasts for 80 seconds and it's unlimited overdubs. When you hit record, the actual drums will kick in. You can use the drums independently. You can see there's a tap tempo, and this will actually take you through all the different drums. So we can actually just start a drum by actually pressing there. And the drummer has 20 built-in drum patterns and is controlled by the foot switch. Didn't know I was going to play that one. There we go. The drummer with this one, of course, is much easier when you use the pedal with it, because you can just press drums and it'll start on its own. But we can actually just hold that down, it'll raise the loop, and that's it. And you'll see REC, you'll see record on every section here. And this means that you can actually record into the output of the recording here. So maybe I actually want to use the drums for live, but I don't want to record the drums. I can turn that off, so then the recording from the OTG, and we'll get to that in a minute, won't go through to there. Really, really clever. So that's your looper, you've got your drums, and then we've got music. So we've actually got Bluetooth, MP3, and OGS in, and then there is a dedicated play, pause, next song, and previous song, and then also a dedicated volume control. These dials, by the way, they've got resistance to them. They're really nice, and then they've got like a bit of a groove in them. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. They've got this kind of like funky groove, so you can easily tell where that dial is. It's really, really nice. And then that's all the way down to the bottom and all the way down to the top. Yeah, bit of resistance there, which is good. Then what we'll do is we'll go down and then we'll go over to this part at the end. So we then go over to channel 1. Channel 1 is all of this here, and you can see the way it's been designed really nicely. So we've got the volume, we've got bass and treble, and then you've got key selection, and this is actually for picking the key. So let's say we're in D and we want to go D minor. We can actually click it for major and minor, which is quite cool. Then we've also got pitch correction. Now pitch correction is in chromatic by default, and it says basically hold down for diatonic scale if you want to. And then you've also got the harmony and switch on and off. Again, much easier to use with the pedal itself. And then when you turn the pedal on, that will turn on, or you could hold it down for momentary. So maybe you just want to hold it for a moment and let go. The harmony itself, you've either got high, low, higher, or octave, and you can adjust the amount that's coming through, and you've got an independent reverb, and this is just for the vocal. Then you've got 48 volts phantom power. Be aware, of course, if you do use 48 volts phantom power, it's going to drain the battery faster if you do use that, and of course be careful, make sure you're only using condenser microphones for that. And again, you've got that little record button, so that record button, I can say I don't want to record the vocals, I only want to record the drums and the instruments, but why would you? I'm sure you want to record the vocals. So that is channel 1. Channel 2 and 3 are the same. So these are literally for instruments. And then you've got volume, bass, middle, treble, and then you've got chorus and delay and reverb. So instead of having harmony and then pitch correction, you've got chorus and delay. And you can again adjust them depending on what you need per instrument. The other thing you get as well on the instrument side, instead of 48 volts, is you get a bright, and you can actually turn that on and off per instrument. If you want to brighten it up, a little bit of an EQ on there, which is quite cool. Then we get over to OTG. Basically what this can do is, and this is why that really long cable is supplied for you, is this is USB-C. It acts as an audio interface. So with the OTG, it's going to capture everything. You've got the looper, you've got the drums, you've got the 3 channels as well, and that can all be sent out to the OTG, and that can actually go out to a computer or maybe your phone if you're live streaming out in the park somewhere or out at a venue, or maybe you've gone to a venue like I did the other week and it was a canopy and there was no power, so you can actually plug that directly in, live stream, no problem at all. And then what you've got is you've got port 1 and port 2. So this is connected around here, and you can see recording volume, so you can actually adjust the volume of the recording. And this is where you can send this out. You can do this from aux cable, no problem. But you've also got the JW05R, that little pack, which is the 2.4 gigahertz wireless audio interface. So you can plug that into there, and then the other end you plug into your phone if you want it to be wireless. However, you could do all 3. So you can actually plug this into your computer for recording. You could also live stream as well, and you've got an extra port as well. So you could send it to 3 separate places simultaneously, which is insane. And then therefore you're completely covered for every eventuality. Then at the bottom you've got phones, and you can mute the amp or not. So you can have the amp running whilst you've got headphones, or you can mute it, no problem. And again, independent volume control for that. And the last thing is the main volume out. That is the sum of everything going out through the speaker. Do you see what I mean, man, by having lots on the top? So the question is, what do I think of this? Well, actually, I really love the design. I really love the availability of everything on here. The downside is you're going to have to bend down and change over things like the pitch correction. It's not an auto play pitch correction. You're going to have to change that maybe per song. But the connections all being at the back kind of suggests to me that this would be maybe in front of you anyway. Maybe if it's on a stand like this and you're playing here and you can adjust it very quickly, or it's going to be obviously on the floor. The downside, I actually think that the controls and the wording of the controls on the top should have actually been the other way around. They should have been pointing towards me if I'm standing behind it or standing to one side. It's actually pointing this way, so I have to turn it round to go, oh yeah, there we go, treble, chorus, and then turn it back round again. That's just a little caveat. That's just the simplest thing that they could reprint really easily and change it over. The inclusion of the USB, the inclusion of the audio interface adapter, the inclusion of a Bluetooth pedal, fantastic. And I think it's one of these things they've really thought about what's the best, simplest way to actually turn these elements on and off without touching it. Let's just build a pedal, make it Bluetooth, and build it inside. That Bluetooth connection for the pedal, by the way, does not include the Bluetooth connection that's for streaming music. So you can actually connect your phone to Bluetooth or connect an iPad to Bluetooth, and that wouldn't affect the pedal. That's completely independent. But I do like the fact that they've thought about recording more than one way. So if I plug the OTG in, it's not going to suddenly turn everything else off. I've still got 2 aux ports that I can send to different places if I want to send that out to that adapter and then plug it into my phone, whilst the USB-C is plugged into my computer for recording at the same time. So dimensions wise, 39.2 by 32 by 30. It's a bit of an odd shape. It's not obviously specifically square, but this is the widest point here just toward the back. And regarding the device, because of the handles, it doesn't feel as heavy as it should be. It is actually 9.6 kilograms, but to be honest with you, I can easily lift it onto this stand, no problem. I'd like to thank JoYo for sending this out to me. If you have found the contents of this video useful, then give it a thumbs up. That really helps me, and it helps the channel and sends it out to more people. If you do want to pick one of these up, I've got links in the description box if you want to go and get one. This is JoYo's BSK-150, their multifunctional live streaming amp. I have to say it like that. But they also make a portable mixer called the Momix Pro. Have a look at this video because this mixer really surprised me, and it's awesome.